Ariana, the Aligned Empress Coach, if you've never heard of me before, and this video is going to be all about my personal experience with activating my dark, divine, vampire, succubus, and siren DNA. Now, I did a video recently where I was talking about what happens when you activate it, what these different types of archetypes can bring, the shadow attributes, the spiritual growth, the spiritual gifts, things of that nature. So, for this video, I want to talk about my personal experience with it. Now, this is a big deal, guys, because I never go live. Like, swear I never go live. Well, those of you that have been following me for a while know that. So, this is very raw. This is very unfiltered, okay? So, anything that I say here, there's no edit button. So, you're getting the real deal. So, I hope you guys like it. So, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this, all right? So, let's start with the siren energy. This is kind of funny because, first of all, I feel like I need to backtrack. I have had vampire, succubus, and siren DNA and abilities since before birth. Okay, this is deeply embedded in my Akashic records of my consciousness. However, that being said, this is not something that I had fully awakened or fully activated or was at least consciously aware of that I was operating under. Okay. So I wasn't aware, or as someone I used to know used to say, I was young and new to my powers. Okay. In this particular incarnation. So it's taken successive different types of initiations, successive different types of deaths and rebirths for me to reach the point I have now in my journey with this. And if you're unfamiliar with what these archetypes represent, please check out my other video because that will explain that. I don't want to spend too much time on what these archetypes mean and hello, Ariana, and what they represent. We're going to go more into my personal testimony for this one, which could translate to what you could activate and how this could help you and how this could magnetize what you want in your life. And so that way you get to benefit. And so I will talk about how this is possible at the end when I talk about my ebook that is coming out. So, with Siren, this is actually funny because fairly recently I had this reflected back. When we do this deep inner work, we do this magnetism, what happens is it will be reflected back to us like a mirror. If we look at the universe, source, God, goddess, whatever you want to call it, as a quantum field, anything that we transform within is going to be reflected back to us. So that is what happens. So, in doing this inner work, I really enjoy getting the confirmation that comes. You know, it's not necessary, but it's nice. So recently, a friend of mine, this is funny to me, I'm sorry. Um, he had sent me a voice clip and he said, "Man," he goes, "your voice is so sexy. I have no," he's like, "I just have to hear everything you have to say." I was, "Well, what is this bitch saying?" And this is exactly what he said. And I was like, "Well, that's the siren energy." It's always something I've had. It's not, it's something somebody had mentioned in the past. My ex-husband had said that I sound like a siren when he first talked to me. And there's actually a client the other day that had said that my voice was really hypnotic in the last video I did. But it was just interesting the extra part he had said where he said, "I just have to listen to everything this bitch has got to say," right? So how does this translate to real life, right? So I actually control the tone of my voice like I'm doing it right now, right? I can be very like loud and harsh and aggressive if I want to be. Like I can be like this and it will have a certain impact, right? Or I can talk like this and I can gaze like maybe with like sleepy eye, or I can speak more eloquently, right? So this is a tool that the siren uses. Also singing. So singing is something since I was a kid that my grandmother had taught me to do. I mean, I remember being 4 years old and her clapping to teach me how to, you know, stay on track, to like keep beat. So this is something that I developed, and this is something that you guys can develop too. Okay. If you have a natural gift of singing, then you probably have some serious siren DNA in there. Okay. If you have a voice that is naturally, let's say, soothing, sexy, sultry, sweet, things of that nature, even if it can come off like harsh, what that is that's like an out of tune instrument. Unless you're doing it to be intentional. Because, like I said, we can use that chaotic, it's kind of like the siren can scream or the siren can sing, right? So we can still use that intentionally. I mean, sometimes when I used to cleanse my space, I don't really do it much anymore because I don't feel the need to. I just sort of absorb and transmute everything around me. But when I would do a lot of space cleansing, one of the things I like to do is just beat a bunch of make a bunch of noise. I even have an Aztec death whistle as a nod to my ancestors, and I've used that to clear things out as well. So I Ariana's asking me, okay, so to answer your question, I fully intend on continuing to do some EPs in the future and actually having them as some sort of magnetic work, some sort of spiritual work, maybe chakra work, something along those lines. I may do that in the future. It was something I'd thought about doing about a year or two ago. And what happens to me is I get a lot of ideas flowing, and then they get put on a list and they get put in the back burner until it's time for them to bear fruit. I'm what's called a reflector in human design, for any of you guys that know what that is. And so, which also matches very, it's rare and it matches very well with like the dark archetypes, because I have to sit on cycles of the moon for the entire duration of a full lunar cycle of, 29 to 30 days before I make decisions. And I sit and I absorb ideas and I absorb ideas, and then I get all of these ideas that I can't possibly juggle at once. So what I do is I just write them down in my journal with the full intention of revisiting them when I'm able to. So music is one of those things that I have specifically intentionally written on the back burner and will go back to at some point. That being said, I digress. So, using your voice to draw people in is a huge gift of the siren. It's not just the voice, it's the eyes. So, siren eyes is how you gaze, it's how you peer, it's how you connect. So, if you're having a conversation with someone, like when I talk to somebody, I will look them in the eyes like a stripper. And I mean that because I actually had friends that were strippers. And so they would tell me some of the things they would do. They would tell me tricks like, oh, you can always tell what wealth a man has by his shoes or by his watch. And now that people are wearing smartwatches again, that's a little harder to tell because almost everybody has a smartwatch. But, oh, no worries, Ariana, you do your thing. So, but that being said, when it comes to learning how to speak and look at somebody, sometimes just looking them in the eye, maybe looking down for a second and then like looking back up, right? Or just kind of gazing down like this and then looking up. And it can be a man or a woman, by the way. So, another example of siren energy is I actually went to pick up a prescription at Walgreens the other day, and I was standing in line. And this woman, she comes and steps behind me and she was like, "Oh my God, like, I love your outfit. I mean, wow, like I was wearing a very long khaki colored sleek overshirt and, black, and just very old money. Okay, very old money vibe. And my jewelry was like very simple, and she said, "Oh wow, you look like you're royalty." And I said, "Thank you." And then she just proceeded to just spill her entire life story. And I said to myself, I was like, wow, that's really confirmation about, I mean, the spilling of the life story is something that I've experienced for a very long time. People like to empty around me, and that is actually a vampire gift, and we're going to get to that in a few minutes. But it does tie into the siren, because the whole siren energy is to draw people in without having to chase, to just sitting there and being magnetic. I apologize for the lighting here. I'm in my car because I just dropped a few hundred on some gifts for myself at Victoria's Secrets. And so anyway, I then went to shop and another place, and I'm just kind of sitting in the parking lot. I wanted to record this before it gets too late for y'all, but I hope it's not too hard to see. Anyway, siren energy is just about being magnetic. It is about drawing in instead of chasing. It is about, literally, if you think of the archetype of the siren, sitting on the sea cliff and simply singing and being. Let me see. I hope that my light didn't just go out, because hold on a second. Okay, because I thought I had that on. I apologize. I'm sitting here trying to keep this going, guys. I apologize. Okay, so now I'm a little like distracted after that. Like, I'm not very good at multitasking. Okay, I know I'm a Gemini, but it's just not really my forte with the multitasking. Anyway, so when it comes to the siren energy, you are not going to have to do much. There we go. That was the lighting I wanted. You are not going to have to do much. Okay. The more you invest in yourself, this is key to siren energy, and this is key to feminine energy in general. Okay. Just FYI. The more you invest in yourself, the more you learn your own worth, the more you pour into yourself and fill your cup, and the more that overflows, the more that people are going to be drawn to you. Okay. So this is why I now have people come up to me on the street and compliment me. I have men and women, even older people, which I would normally open the door for, just run ahead and beat me and just open the door for me. Like that other lady a while ago I told you guys about how she said I look like royalty, right? So this is an energy thing. This comes from pouring into yourself, from elevating yourself. That's siren energy. Okay. So just to recap, using voice, drawing people in, this is part of this, right? Another siren tool is using a black mirror or a regular mirror and doing a mirror magnetic work. I want to say magnetic instead of manifestation. You can even have like a black mirror up, and you can just set whatever you want to magnetize facing the black mirror. So that helps as well. But this is all about manifestation. So siren energy does really well with using water too. So if you wanted to use water, that helps as well. I'm going to go into a lot of detail with this with the ebooks on exactly my ebook on exactly what you can do to activate all this DNA. So stay tuned at the end for that, because you can also check in the description below and pre-order that, because it's only $9.99 right now, and the price will go up once it drops. So just want to let you guys know. Anyway, on to vampire. So this is probably my strongest archetype, I would say. They're all pretty strong, but this one I've had since I was really tiny. Vampirism has a bad rep, and we're not going to really go into that in this video. If you want to check out some of my other videos that has to do about vampirism, then definitely do that. But for this one, we are going to talk about my journey on vampirism, okay? So, born with it, but when I went through my descent through the clipoth and became what I like to call a descended master or descended mistress, however you want to put it, I was able to utilize my natural vampiric abilities and to actually find out, oh, hey, normal energetic work doesn't really work for me, because I actually absorb and transmute. So if I'm putting up shields all the time, that's actually draining me because I benefit from the energy that I take in, positive and negative. Any energy that is sent my way or is around me, as long as I'm intentionally absorbing and transmuting it, I'm alchemizing it. So there's no such thing as being cursed, hexed, jinxed, or crossed when you're a vampire. Why? Because any energy that comes toward you immediately is fuel. It's fuel for you. You're you literally keeping warm with it. So, and this is also part of unbothered energy. It's the whole thing of I'm unbothered. I actually had some happen the other day on Facebook. This is a really good example of this. So, my best friend, we had a private joke that was going on behind the scenes, and he thought it would be funny to bring it up on a Facebook post. And he said when he opened up his Facebook, the first thing that came on was me in this jacket, right? Just so you guys can see a little bit more. So, and I had this picture where I was wearing the jacket, and he made a joke about how it looked would look like Cruella de Vil. He's never seen the origin story of Cruella de Vil. He's only seen like the original cartoon. And so anyway, we laughed, and that was it. But then when it popped up on his Facebook, he thought it'd be funny to continue the joke. And I was like, this is my business post, bro. Like, what are you doing? But I didn't get mad. I wasn't like upset or just, I was just like, I kind of like was getting a kick out of it. And so I said, I'll claim that because, hey, she was dressed to the nine and, she was rags to riches. And then like he kept going on. He's like, no, 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 like she was, and I was like, okay. So I just ignored it. But this is actually a good example. And that was a friend of mine. That's not even, if had it been somebody that I didn't know at all, I would have just not even said anything at all. But I still didn't, get pulled into that back and forth energy, even though it was like playful. Being unbothered, being a vampire, and having that vampire DNA activated is about emotional mastery. Because if you can master your emotions and you can take the emotional energy of others and you can apply that and basically with intention tell it where to go. And so that is really the gift of the vampire. And I do that all the time. So no matter what anybody does or says, that energy always gets added to my beauty, my magnetism, my wealth, my success. So I'm always winning. I'm always elevating. I'm always growing. I just want to say winning over and over again because that's basically what it comes down to. Okay. So that is a benefit of having activated vampiric DNA. You can literally also sample the energy of other people. And this is something that I'm going to have to get into in my ebook because I can't really go into that in the video. But there is a way to utilize the shadow energy of other people and have it work to your advantage. So you help them by sort of lifting the cloud that they have hovering over, but you also will catalyze them to face their shit, right? To face their shadow energy. But you will kind of lighten the load and you'll bring things up for them to deal with. But as you're removing some of that energy, not only are you helping them, but you're also using that energy to feed yourself. So it helps you as well. Additionally, another cool thing about it is you literally have stable energy all the time. I'm not saying it's not like, I mean, I'm still human, in this body. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm just constantly like made of plastic or anything. But I've noticed a big difference of learning how to intentionally circulate my own energy versus like when I was younger and I would just like burn myself out. It's also being a vampire is also being selective with who you give your energy to. So a lot of times, especially as women, we burn out because we're giving our energy to people that don't deserve it all the time, all the time, all the time, or things that don't deserve it. So it's learning how to be intentional and selective with your energy so that it works to your advantage. Let's see. The succubus, because I feel like I don't want this video to be like super long just because I'm live, because I could just talk forever, guys. Like I said, I'm Gemini Sun and Gemini Mercury, so I could talk forever. This stream of consciousness, just blah blah blah. So I don't want to like talk you guys to death. I want to be very intentional in what I'm saying. So with the succubus, this has to do with being able to hone sexual energy. Feed yourself with the sexual energy of others. Help awaken the kundalini and sexual energy of others just by being in your presence. Example of a vampire and a succubus energy being able to work and help people is in absorbing the energy of other people. You can help draw energy up. So when it comes to a succubus, like you can actually draw their kundalini up. You can help circulate it through them. And you can take that energy at the point of orgasm and bring it into yourself. And in doing so, you are feeding yourself. So you're giving them this amazing spiritual and ecstatic experience, and you're also feeding yourself. So everybody benefits, right? I have literally been able to, this is just succubus energy in action since we've talked about vampirism in action. We talked about siren in action. And by the way, if you're jumping on just now, you guys can always just watch the video from the very beginning, but we're going to go into the last part of like succubus. So with succubus, you can actually direct the energy during and at the point of orgasm with yourself, by yourself, or also with partners. This goes back to the old sacred prostitutes, which were temple priestesses. Okay, don't be like misled by the name. It's not like modern day prostitutes. And I've talked about this in other videos. So if you guys want to know more about that, you can check that out. But being able to help the people that you are having this act with reach Kundalini awakening, or if you're with somebody that is on the same level as you, awake like you are, then you are able to do sex and magic with them and use the energy consciously together to manifest. Okay, so this is succubus energy. All right, sex magic is big for somebody that has succubus DNA awakened. You'll know that you have succubus DNA awakened because when you have sex with somebody, they will be very hung up on you. They will feel connected, vulnerable, even if there's somebody that normally doesn't feel that way. They will also feel as though real emotions, real things are coming up for them. Maybe it has nothing to do with you. Maybe you were just shaking things loose, right? They may experience a Kundalini activation. I've had, I want to say, two exes that have experienced Kundalini activations. No, three that have experienced Kundalini activations just from having contact with me, okay? And have actually confirmed it. They have told me. So this is the ability of the succubus energy. Is it's yes, it feeds us, it makes us beautiful, it makes us young, it makes us powerful, it makes us alluring, but it also can help others as well. Everything comes down to intentions, intentional, being intentional. Because if you have these archetypes and they're in the shadow, and they're not integrated. It's like a kid with a loaded gun. So that's where you get energy vampires that are running around and are just, they can't stand on their own because they don't understand their vampiric gifts. They don't understand they have to do shadow work. So just kind of feeding off of people all the time. That's where you get people that have the siren shadow out of whack, where they are just using their looks to draw in an allure and to take from people, to steal or to manipulate. And when it comes to the succubus, this is somebody that may use sex as a weapon, may steal somebody's energy, vitality, kind of pull them into like a quicksand energy of themselves. When I was younger, I used to have this thing where people would get lost in me and I would get lost in them. And that's probably partially my Mars and Scorpio as well. But this was something that I had to learn to work through. And so, one of the cool things about having this DNA activated is you start to learn how to use it. And yes, it can be weaponized, but it can also be used to elevate faster at a quantum level than ever before, to magnetize faster at a quantum level than ever before. Because this is like the deep, dark, powerful feminine abilities that have been suppressed throughout his story. So we are reclaiming her story. We are saying, look, this exists within us. These are archetypes that have existed within us going way back to the matriarchy, way before the time of Lemuria itself. We are taking this back. We are embracing this within. We are activating this within. So if this is something that resonates with you, if you want to learn how to magnetize, allure, to have the type of energy where you're unbothered, where you have strong energetic boundaries, where sex for you is like a tool of like spiritual growth, power, where you're able to draw and magnetize what you want, the people, the situations, the opportunities, right? It's so many things, guys. It's so many things. But if this sounds like you, definitely pre order my ebook. It's in the description below, the square link. So I'm going to be dropping it within the next month. And when I drop it, maybe a little later than that, but I'm taking my time with it. So I'm doing this huge discount now because I want you guys to benefit on, it's basically an early bird special. The people who really feel called, I want you to benefit. So definitely you can pre-order by going down to the link. Somebody asked me the other day if men could benefit from this. Absolutely. So I want to just say that real quick, that if you are a man, you can still activate this. These archetypes exist within everybody. Is it going to be a little different for a man? Absolutely. Okay. And that may be something that you might want to book a actual coaching session with me on, if that's something you're wanting to develop as a man. And this goes for anyone. If you're wanting to develop this on more of an interpersonal level unique to you, then definitely book a coaching session with me on my website. Okay. Or if you feel like after reading the ebook, like you want to go even deeper, the ebook is going to have exercises and rituals and guided journeys to activate this and to give you tools in order to, hone in on it and to use it. And you will be doing journal entries where you can keep track of, oh shit, wow, like today I just did this and this happened. And it's like a real world thing. So I literally just like said to myself today, um, I'm just going to go shopping and get myself some new bras and panties at Victoria's Secrets. And then I just had 500 drop in my bank account. No joke. Like this is the existence of somebody who has this archetype expression, right? And it's about the dark feminine boundaries and exploration of personal power and integration of shadows. But these specific archetypes that I mentioned are very geared toward allure, embracing your sexuality, embracing your confidence, your sense of self, pouring into yourself, embracing your face card, pretty privilege, princess treatment, all of that. Okay. Thank you, Echo. I appreciate it. So I think that's it for now, guys. I don't want to go too long, be too long winded, but if you guys want to put in that pre order, now's the time. And I will be doing more videos live from now on, more than likely. I feel like it's just more organic. Okay. Thanks for being here for my first live. I really appreciate you all. And until next time. And don't laugh, guys, but I don't even know how to like end this thing. That's what's funny. I'm like, how do I end you now? Do I just hit the X button? I have no idea. So I think that's what I do. So thank you so much, guys.